Start with prayers. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swaminita Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Vanchakalpatrubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Anantakoti Vaishnavrind ki jai Jagat Guru Shila Prabhupada ki jai Nitagaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All right. So till yesterday we have discussed that Dasharath Maharaj, he brought the he brought Rishyasringa Maharshi, who was prophesied that only when he comes, the Dasharath Maharaj's yajna will become successful. So Rishyasringa Maharshi, along with Dasharath Maharaj, and not only just Rishyasringa, because he got married with Shanta Devi. So along with Shanta Devi, Rishyasringa and the entire group, they all came to Ayodhya. So when they were coming to Ayodhya, before itself, some messengers, who can walk fast, so they were sent so that the entire Ayodhya will be ready to receive the great Maharshi. And then when also the Vasishtha Muni and Sumantra, other ministers, they got ready. They're getting ready now. So they summoned all different types of workers, supervisors, managers in making the arena for some of them were construction workers of the kitchens. So they decided this Vedic sacrifice to take place in the northern banks of the Sarayu River. So then Vasishtha, he actually spoke. He spoke to elderly Brahmana scholars and architects, all of them, even carpenters, as I mentioned yesterday, carpenters, earth diggers, accountants, sculptors. And they decided the place and the work started. And then when Dasharath Maharaj, they all arrived in Ayodhya, they had a grand reception there. And after that, Rishyasringa Maharshi along with Shanta Devi were shown their quarters. And Dasharath Maharaj also went to his quarters and immediately said to his wives that we have to now enter into the Vedic sacrificial arena and take the vows. So the next day, they enter into the Vedic, Yajnashala, or the sacrificial arena, and they undertook some vows. And this vrata, its vows is nothing but vrata. Vrata, we call it, is in the Sanskrit. So they entered into this vrata 1 year before the actual yajna was supposed to happen. 1 year before. It's not that, nowadays they just do vrata or something only that same day and then they start the yajna. No. 1 year before they start, because they need to purify themselves so much. And as part of the horse sacrifice, the horse was also released. Now, not any kind of a horse. This horse has helped the king win many battles. And it has saved the life of the king. So it is very dear to that king. And that horse has become old now. So it will no more be able to run that fast and all that. So at that time, you see, they do this horse sacrifice. And they kill that horse, and they sacrifice that horse in the fire of yajna. And that is why it's called Ashwamedha Yajna. And what happens is in the animals, this is the test whether the Brahmanas are chanting the mantras properly or not. So the uh, custom is, or the process is, first they will do the sacrifice. Okay. After that, they will do an ishti. Ishti means a desire fulfilling yajna. So to perform an ishti yajna, a desire fulfilling yajna, they first of all have to do a sacrifice like Ashwamedha or other yajnas, where uh, whoever is ordering this yajna to go, so they will all understand, yes, this the first level is properly, it succeeded. Only then they will go to the second level. So what is the success in the first level is all these animals which are sacrificed in the yajna kunda or homa kunda, right in the front of maharshis and other great souls. They can see that those animals are taking a new bodies. In front of their eyes, they will see that that animal, the soul which was there in that animal body, is coming out of that Yajñakunda, and it's taking another divine form. Like it, I'm not talking about liberation. Okay, liberation is going back to Vaikuntha, not that kind of liberation. This is like uplifting them from the most fallen, like animalistic platform to come to the human platform or to a demigod platform. So they will be liberated from that animalistic life and given a chance to either take as a human being or as a some celestial being. Especially when it happens in the sacrificial arena, they normally take a celestial form, body, and then they go to the upper planetary systems. This happens right in front of the eyes of all the Brahmanas. When this happens, now it is proved that whatever the mantras they have chanted throughout the yajna was correct. There was no mispronunciation, and it is successful. That is a test. Because, in Chaitanya Charitamrita also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 500 years ago, when he met Chand Kazi, okay, so 500 years ago, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in that Navadvip Mandal, the district of Navadvipa, and the king who was ruling was Chand Kazi. His name is Chand Kazi. He is none other than the expansion of Kamsa himself. So in the beginning, he became, he was little against the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself started this first civil disobedience movement, we say, right? So he started the first civil disobedience movements 500 years ago. So he took so what happened was, before, the Sankirtan party was going in the Navadvip Mandal, and the Chand Kazi's soldiers, right? They came, the security guards, they came and they broke the mridangas. And there was a fight, and then the devotees were thrown away. So that broken mridanga is still there in the Srinivas Angan in Mayapur. It is still there. If you go there, you can see. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got to know, he became furious. So he said, let's start a civil disobedience movement. He started first, and he took like lakhs, a million people, devotees. They all went with so many hundreds and thousands of mridangas, kartals, and they were just singing Hare Krishna mantra, and all of them approached the house of Chand Kazi, and Chand Kazi became very afraid. Like he got so fearful that he ran upstairs in his palace, and then he hid in some room. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, because in one way Chand Kazi is like a because it's a distant uncle to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Reason is Chand Kazi was taken care by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's father once. So he took care of Chand Kazi once. So that's why he's considered to be as an uncle. So Chand Kazi came down and he said, oh, see, how can you be so angry to your uncle? And Mahaprabhu says, yes, no, I should not be angry, but you also have done like this. How can you do like this to your nephew. So they had a good discussion, and later they all discussed. They did Shastra Charcha, discussion about the Shastras. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu put forward his things, and Chandkazi also put forward the injunctions from the Quran. So they both discussed. And at that time, Chandkazi said, see, you are saying no, that we should not kill the cow, but how come that in the Vedas also there is Gomedha sacrifice? Now this is Ashwamedha. See, Ashwamedha, right? Ashwa is horse, Medha is to do, and Yajna is sacrifice. Ashwamedha. Like that, Gomedha means to sacrifice a cow is also there. So you also have cow killing in your Vedas. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, we don't have a cow killing. We have Gomedha sacrifice. And only a authorized, authentic Brahmanas, only they can do this sacrifice, not everyone. And he said, in this Kali Yuga, the sacrifice, doing sacrifices is banned. One must not do sacrifice because there are no proper Brahmanas who hold that purity to that level of purity. And also you need the chanting of mantras exactly. And to train a Brahmana to chant those mantras itself will take like 40-50 years. So the life is very much shortened. Brahmanas do not have that much time, and the Brahmanas are also fallen down. So Mahaprabhu says it is not prescribed in this age to do those sacrifices. Now that is why even Buddha also came. The main reason why, if you see Srimad Bhagavatam, the 11th canto, it talks about the Buddha's appearance. And there it says that there was a profuse killing of all animals. When the Kali Yuga started, slowly all the Brahmanas are the highest intellectuals in the society. Okay. So when they started falling down, even they compromised on so many things. Like if you see, a lot of our Indian kings were actually killed or cheated by the Brahmanas of their kingdom. They were bribed. The Brahmanas were bribed by the Muslim rulers, and somehow those Brahmanas helped the Muslim rulers to take over the kingdoms of many kings in India. So you will see that they have fallen down. So when they have fallen down, automatically all the rituals, everything. So instead of sacrificing the whole animal into the fire pit and all that, they used to start consuming also. They started consuming. And it became so huge that instead of sacrificing the animal into the fire and all that, slaughterhouses started coming. And there was a lot of animal killing going on. At that time, Buddha had to incarnate and said, all of you, because they were misusing, everyone were misusing the Vedas. They're killing the animals, they're killing the cows and saying, and then giving the reference. Okay, so you see in the Vedas, it is mentioned like this, that you can kill the cow. But kill what? For what? Is only to do that kind of a sacrifice, not for your tongue. So the general public was also delineated, like the Brahmanas delineated, and they also drove the entire society into the hellish life. So that's why Buddha came and said, shut up, all of you, don't follow the Vedas. Okay, and this is the reason of, and that's why it's called as Shunyavadi. He preached the Shunyavadi philosophy. Shunyavada philosophy is zeroism. Shunya means zero. And what does that mean? Everything becomes zero and everything comes from zero. That is the philosophy. There is nothing there before this and there is nothing after. And he had asked everyone not to follow the Vedas. See, this only the Supreme Lord can do. Okay, see, suppose in your house, if your children are very naughty and they are creating great disturbance to the society, what will you do? You will just bring them into the house, lock them up, ground them in a room for a month or 2 months until they change. If they are creating a big disturbance in the society. And you will say, you just shut up, sit down, don't do anything. That is what Buddha also had done. See, to your children, a neighbor cannot come and lock your son, your children into a room and do. No, you have the authority. So like that, only Supreme Lord has the authority to say like that. Otherwise, whoever have denied the existence of Vedas, or whoever have told, no, don't follow the Vedas, they all fall under demoniac categories. If you see all the demons have told the same thing, then how come Buddha is not a demon? Because it's Supreme Lord. The Vedas, for which the purpose of the Vedas are being exploited, misrepresented, and changed. So that's why Buddha had done, and because this cannot go for long, maybe after 500-600 years, when everything settled down again, Shankaracharya, he came and he started preaching different philosophies, so that people from that level, they can come back to the Vedas. Okay, all right. So coming back to this Dasharatha, the sacrifice, the first level is what? To test whether that mantras are working fine, and the result is, whatever animal is put into that sacrificial arena, they get in front of their eyes, they will get a different body and they get elevated. So it's 1 year before they started this vrata. The horse also was released, and this horse, right, it will carry one flag, and wherever that horse goes, it means that Dasharatha Maharaj has conquered that place. If the king of that area where the horse has gone does not abide by Dasharatha Maharaj, then they have to fight. There will be a war. So Dashrath Maharaj has to then win in that war. He has to, because he has taken the sankalpa of doing the Ashwamedha sacrifice. So that's why not every king must do. A king who is very sure that that even if someone comes and comes for a war, he can actually win over them. He must have that confidence. Only then he can go. Only then he can release the horse. And this horse, after going to all the places, then finally it will return. Until that, they all will be, they'll be performing so much of sacrifices every day with the various mantras and rituals. And Dasharath Maharaj, along with his wives, will also be in that vrata. They will be sitting next to those yajna and also offering the oblations. So meanwhile, when this horse was going around and coming back, in that time, all the arrangements are made. An entire temporary city. See, it's not a permanent city. A temporary city was constructed on the northern banks of Sarayu. Huge kitchens were built. Sumantra, he arranged, Sumantra is the minister, he arranged for various actors and actresses, dancers and entertainers. They're not material entertainers. All are spiritual. All the dance and dramas, entertainment is related to Supreme Lord Vishnu. So everything was ready, and Dasharatha Maharaj, he commenced the Vedic sacrifice. Rishya Shrungam Puraskritya Karma Chakrur Dvijarshabhaha Ashwamedhe Mahayajne Rajnyosya Sumahatmanaha. So Rishyashringa Maharshi was leading the fire sacrifice, and under his direction, the sacrifice started. So they performed the various rituals like Pravargya, Upasada, Savana. So people also started coming when the sacrifice is done. All the people from all over the kingdom, neighboring kingdom, everyone will come. And there was arrivals of brahmanas, sages, servants, pilgrims, kings, businessmen. All of them come, and their arrival is very unpredictable. So right now we all have the times, and then we have our vehicles, either through air or through train. We will know what time we will reach, what time is expected. Those days it is all by foot or either in the chariots. So it is never predicted what time they will come, what time they will not come. So if someone thinks that no, they need to take more rest, so they will take more rest and come slowly. So sometimes they will arrive very early in the morning, sometimes they will arrive in the afternoon or evening or at night or even at midnight. So based on their arrival, even Sumantra, the king, had to make the arrangements immediately. Their boarding, their lodging, their prasadam, everything was perfectly arranged. Even if someone arrives at dead of the night, for them also there is an immediate lodging and prasadam. So now elderly people, they will come, sick ones, because it's a long travel. Sometimes people get sick on the way. They will come. So when the sick people come, then there are doctors to immediately take care. Not that they go to a hospital, put their money, and then get the treatment. No, the king is automatically takes care. So that's why king is the father of that entire country. Like when if we children, if we go to our parents' house, and if we are sick, immediately our parent would take care, take us to hospital and all that. So a king, he arranged for all the doctors also. Even of the dead of the night, if someone is sick, someone is not well, they will be taken care. And all of them have different diets also. Elderly people cannot eat the way the younger ones can. So they have a different diet. So different prasadam. Sick ones have a different prasadam. Women, children, everyone were dining sumptuously. And every one of them, each one of them were glorifying Dasharath Maharaj. Because Dasharath Maharaj was saying, that to everyone you should eat prasadam sumptuously. And these visitors, right, when they come and when they have the prasadam, it is so nicely fed that they know that they cannot waste prasadam at all. So they eat so much till their neck. Normally they all sit down and they on the mats and they honor the prasadam. But they were so full that their stomach is bulged and they're unable to bend their head and body down to the leaf plate to eat. The stomach is coming on the way. So that much they were fed. You see how much of good pious deeds that Dasharath Maharaj is acquiring. Each one of us, each one of the visitors who is coming and sumptuously fed, he'll be so satisfied, and every one of them, they are blessing Dasharatha. Thank you so much, Dasharatha Maharaj, for arranging so nicely. You will definitely get a great son. All the devotees or the who have actually been a parent to Supreme Lord, they have not done ordinary sacrifices. They have done great sacrifices, great tapasya they have done. And so along with the prasadam, their accommodation was also given, and even clothes, jewelries, garments, everything was given to them in freely. Free feast, free accommodation, free clothes, everything. And so different masses of men and women, they're all arriving from different countries, day after day, day after day. And the amount of prasadam that they all have to prepare, after preparing it, each item looked like a mountain. Like there's a mountain of yellow rice, which is a lemon rice. If I want to say, it's like something like a yellowish, brownish, right? It can be tamarind rice, pulihora. If there is a white rice, then there'll be a mountain of white rice. Annam, prasadam. So much of prasadam was being distributed day after day, day after day. And to prepare just after cooking, it became a mountain. Imagine what about the storehouse? It'll be huge. If you go to very olden temples, I have seen that in South India, especially in Sri Rangam, right? The guide will tell you that this is a big well. It's an empty well right now, but it's inside. It is inside the temple complex next to the main kitchen. So they would say, this is the well of milk. This is the well of ghee. This is the well of curd. We are struggling to make one small bowl of curd, but there is a big, huge well of curd only. So people used to come there and donate. And how to store all of them? They created a stone well. In that, everyone would come and pour ghee, milk, butter, each separately. And huge cauldrons, I don't know how to call, or silos are there for rice. If that is there even today. Each storehouse of rice is like as big as our communities. Like one of the buildings, like especially in the community I live, that huge it is. And you can see in the Google Maps from the top view also. So huge they are. So that was a storehouse, how it used to, they used to have. All the liquid items, they are being stored in the wells. Solid items, you used to have a go down kind of a structure, round structure. So everyone who came there for the yajna, they were satisfied, and they're praising Dasharatha Maharaj. But still, the king was feeling little, unsatisfied and incomplete. He's saying that no, you should even eat more. You're not eating properly. The serving people, right? Those who are serving, the moment the serving guys, people, they see a little emptiness on the leaf plate, immediately they would come and serve the plate. So the visitors, they are coming, they're stopping them by covering their plates with their hands. But the server is pouring over the hands or under, in the side of the hands. Somehow they're pouring the prasadam, like, the liquid or the solid. So unless they bend their whole body over the plate, they're not stopping the service. But people are so full that they're not even able to bend their bodies. Their stomach is bulged and it is hindering. So just imagine the scene, how much people were fed. Svalankratascha purusha brahmanya paryaveshayan upasate cha tananye sumrishta manikundalaha. See, sumrishta manikundalaha. And those who were serving, they were not just like, normal servers, how we employ. Okay, you go and you pour, you serve this sambar or you serve this dal, rice, puri, not like that. Each of them were very well dressed. And they're all Ayodhya Vasis, every family, the head of every family, all like the businessmen, the Vaishya, Shudra, every person was personally coming there. And because all these people, since they are guests to the Ayodhya, even their guests, and they're not different from the guests to their home. So it is the same. So all the men and women from each family, they would go and they would dress very nicely, opulently, and they would serve them. Nowadays, if you go in the any weddings functions, we wait the waiter or someone to serve us. No, there the main person will go and serve. And those who were no, now there are assistants also for these people. Those assistants are wearing what? Sumbrishta manikundalaha. They were wearing gem-studded, lustrous earrings. See, this is the opulence. Why I'm telling you all this is because this is how we should serve the devotees and guests. It's mentioned in the Ramayana. Annam hi vidhivatsvadu prashamsanti dvijarshabhaha aho triptaha smabhadramta iti shushrava raghavaha. All the brahmanas and sages, all different classes of men, they're appreciating the feast prasadam so much. Each of them is saying how perfectly the items are cooked. They're so relishable and they're very much satisfied. And every one of them started blessing the king. So you see the king is getting so many heartful blessings. So definitely his desire will be fulfilled. And each like again, because like we have the different varnas, and there are food different for each varna. Brahmanas would take a different kind of food because they have to do the yajna. They have to recite so many mantras, so their food will be mostly soaked in ghee. There will be a lot of ghee required because ghee is a lubricant to your throat. That's why for every brahmana in the earlier days, first ghee is served in their hands so that they take little ghee, it lubricates. They would have become so tired from reciting. So when they take little ghee, it will lubricate their throat. And then whatever the food they take, it will easily pass through. And brahmanas will not take spicy food. They'll take only very sattvic food. In one of the kingdom, like in South India, the king said that he declared that all the brahmanas will get free provisions. So what happened is, in that city, all the others, right, the poor people, they would they would get their share of the groceries, and they need to work also. So the king takes care. But they were, so brahmanas, they just have to in their thought process, they think that, it is so easy. It is so easy that they all get free food. See, brahmanas, they don't earn money. They do not earn by doing any job. So they'll spend all the time, uplifting the human society, giving the lectures, serving the prasadam, all that. So it is a king's duty to take care of them. So he put this, it's a free groceries to brahmanas. They sacrifice so much. So the other classes of men, like especially the lower classes of men, what they started doing is they started dressing themselves as brahmanas and going to each of the grocery stores and taking all the items for free. So these businessmen, Vaishyas, who were doing the business, so they went to the king and said, "Oh, my dear king, some of like these lot of people are coming. I don't know from how come like these many brahmanas are there in our kingdom. They're all coming dressed up as brahmanas and they're taking it. They're like misusing this your boon to brahmanas." So the king said, "Okay, when they come, you just note down their grocery items that they are taking. If anyone is taking like more of chili, spicy things, it means that he's not a brahmana." because they would never eat. So because high spiciness is actually quality of a rajoguna, mode of passion. And that's why even if you see very traditional temples like Tirupati, Tirumala, even Jagannath Puri, in Dwarkadish, all these temples, they will not use chilies at all. They would use, for spiciness, they will use only pepper. Okay. So if you talk about the food for the Kshatriyas, their food is little different. They need, because they need to work hard, they have to go for wars. Their food is different. Sages, their food will be like mostly fruit based or root based. That's all. They will not take like lavish feast, and they will take only bare minimum. Vaishya's food is different. Shudras. So Dasharath Maharaj made sure that every Varna gets the food that he's accustomed to. And he's free to take all the food. He can. But normally he made sure that every Varna has the food that they like. And during the rituals, whenever Brahmanas, they get some breaks, they're discussing some Shastra Charcha, and they're debating also. And they're all intellectual debates. Eminent Brahmanas they are defeating one another. And after losing a debate, they don't feel bad or depressed. In fact, they feel more happy that they learned. Actually, they become more happy after losing. That is a mood one must have, especially in a debate. They don't debate that their point is only correct. No. They don't try to prove that whatever they say is right. So they all try to learn what is right, and they have the debates. And different wooden posts, like wooden pillars, were made. And these posts, this is for the rituals in the Vedic sacrificial arena. These posts were there. There are 6 posts of Khadira wood. There were 6 posts of Parnina wood, 1 post of Sleshamataka. These are, and 2 posts of Devadaru wood. These are different kinds of woods specifically mentioned as per part of the Ashwamedha sacrifice. These woods have to be used. So in total, 21 such pillars were made. They were all then gold plated, decorated with clothes. And these pillars, they were then worshipped with flowers, perfumes, and they're all shining like a Saptarshis, the 7 stars in the sky. Then the Homakunda, the fire altar, it was very nicely designed, constructed according to the rules and regulations, and even the measurements also. And the Brahmanas, the sages, the Vaishyas, and all the Varnas, they arranged for the various forest animals, farm animals, aquatic animals, and also all these animals as per the scriptures. So 300 animals are tied to these ritual posts, along with the main horse. Because all of these animals will be actually sacrificed in the fire, and they will all see that they will get an elevated birth in their next life. Because if their next life will be anyway animal. See, animals are anyway will die. Okay, so how to elevate them? These sacrifices are used. In fact, so they get a better bodies. And you see, these many 300 animals have to be put into Yajna Kunda. Imagine how big that Homakunda must have been. It is very huge. Then Valmiki says, Kausalyatam tam hayam tatra paricharya samantataha kripanaihi vishasasanaihi tribihi paramaya muda. So with great delight, Kausalya Devi, the queen, the primary queen, she circumambulated the Yajnashala. She did the pradakshina to Yajnashala, and also she went around the horse. Then she killed the horse with three three different knives at three different places. They stabbed that horse, and it's all part of the Ashwamedha. And with that dead horse, then she has to reside for one night, and the next day, without any feeling of awkwardness, without any showing of any kind of embarrassment, she'll stay. And then the next morning, the priest takes that horse, drops it into the sacrificial pit, fire homa, and Mahishya parivrityacha vavatam aparam tatha. So Valmiki Maharshi is not partial to anyone. Whatever is the truth, he told it. See, he mentioned Kausalya Devi as Mahishya parivrityacha vavatam aparam tatha. Neglected wife of the king, then burnt the horse. So that means Kausalya Devi was neglected by the king. And what did Dashrath Maharaj do? Dhumagandham vapayastu jighrati sma naradhipaha yathakalam yathanyayam nirnudan papamatmanaha. Then Dhumagandham, that means Dashrath Maharaj, after the horse is burnt, Dashrath Maharaj smelt the smoke coming out of the sacrificial pit. That cleanses all the sins he committed. So this yajna was performed for 3 days. First day it was called Chatushtoma. Second day it was called Ukthyama. Third day it is called Atiratra. And so many rituals were performed in these 3 days. So Prabhupada mentions about these, these 4 kinds of Vedic priests in Srimad Bhagavatam, the 7th canto, 3rd chapter, 30th verse. Hota, Adhvaryu, Udgata, and Brahma. These are the 4 different kinds of priests who are there. So once on the completion of ritual, Dashrath Maharaj then donated the entire eastern side of the king to Hota. Okay, one of the priest. Western side to Adhvaryu. One of Adhvaryu is another priest. Southern side to Brahma, not the Lord Brahma. This is like Brahmasthana priest. Okay, northern side to Udgata priest. So the king donated all the land to the officiating priests. Everything was given. This is what a king does every time in every sacrifice. But the priest said, my dear king, so even to accept land and to rule, you need to have a capability. We know that you alone are capable to protect the earth completely. So there is no use for us with these lands. We are not capable to rule it. Or in fact, they said the actual meaning is they're not interested in this ruling. That's why they are in the Brahmana position. And they said we are always preoccupied and self-satisfied by studying the Vedic scriptures, then teaching them. So you can give us some few small things, maybe some gems or some cows, gold, that's it, if that is available to you. So immediately all the Brahmanas, they donated everything back to Dashrath Maharaj. So it doesn't mean that Brahmanas are not capable of ruling, no. Because they are the ones who teach the kings how to rule, how to fight, about the various political science, knowledge, how to control the senses, everything. Brahmana knows much better than any king. But although knowing all the knowledge, they always remain aloof from such responsibilities. Because they're always engaged in thinking of the Lord and preaching. They'll be either preaching or performing yajna or making others to do the yajna. So they attain the greatest pleasure by doing all this, not by actually ruling. So that's why even in a Gurukul, every varna or like every we have division of labor, which we say as caste. So every kind of a kid comes to learn. So in Brahmana, they teach according to the quality of the student, not according to the birth of the student. According to the quality of the student, he gives the training. So if the student wants to become a businessman, so the Guru trains him to become a good businessman. But Brahmana never gets into the business at all. He teaches how to do it. He trains them. So they always remain very humble. They don't get into such material activities. And they train others, and they don't indulge themselves. So Dasharath Maharaj, then he gave millions of cows, 100 million gold coins, 400 million silver coins to those priests. Again, these priests, they did not keep all this wealth. So they donated everything to Rishishringa and Vasishtha Muni. Then again, Rishishringa Maharshi and Vasishtha Muni gave back all the donations. Then they distributed these thing equally to all the priests, as much as they are satisfied. And he donated so many gold coins to all the Brahmanas who at least have come there to see the yajna, not like necessarily participating, just to see the yajna also he came, he gave the donation. So after giving all the donation, immediately Dasharath Maharaj, he prostrated flat on the ground and he paid obeisances, dandavats, to all the Brahmanas. And all the Brahmanas, they chanted various hymns, Vedic hymns, blessing the prostrated king. You see, now when someone is donating, he feels that actually the one who is a giver, he's greater, and one who is a receiver is less. No. Actually, the one who is actually giving, see how we should learn from Dasharath Maharaj, that he's always humbler. He's so thankful that the other person is receiving this donation from him. In that way, his sins are, they're all taking away, cleaning their sins, cleaning the sins of the king. So he fell flat on the ground, paying obeisances to them. Then the king got up and he spoke to Rishishringa Maharshi that, no, my dear sage, you alone are eligible to perform the ritual for expanding my dynasty. So can you please perform this Ishti ritual? Ishti means the desire. So Rishishringa Muni said, Tatheti chasa rajana muvacha Dvijasattamaha bhavishyanti sutta rajashvataraste kulodvaha. Said, O king, don't worry. There will be 4 sons to you that will glorify the dynasty. Don't worry. So even before he got anything, Rishishringa Maharshi saw the future. He said, you're going to have 4 sons. And hearing this, Dasharath Maharaj, immediately he went into ecstasy. So, as part of the procedure, as a formality, he again asked, what kind of a desire you want to get fulfilled? Then the king said, I want putra kama ishti. Kama means desire. Ishti is that ritual. Putra means son. I want a ritual by which I can get my desire of getting a son will be fulfilled. And then Rishishringa Maharshi says, yes, this ritual is mentioned in the Atharva Veda. So according to the Atharva Veda, I'll perform the sacrifice. So the sage commenced the Putra Kameshti ritual. He invoked many great demigods like Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Brahma, Siddhas, residents of upper planetary systems, very great sages from Jana and Tapoloka. So they all arrived at this sacrificial arena to receive their part of the offering and they go. So when they all arrived, even Brahma also arrived. See, he's the first living entity in this Brahmanda who was born from the lotus, that is, that's sprouted from the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And he was given the responsibility of creation, that is Srishti. So he's not an ordinary person. That's why he's sometimes called as grandfather, the primary creator. So when Brahma and all the other demigods assembled there, what will happen? So you will not get, he's also such a great personality, right? So all the demigods, they don't get to see Brahma so often, so easily. So Brahma came. So when Brahma came, immediately they started discussing their problems. Bhagavan Prasadena Ravano Nama Rakshasaha Sarvanno Badhate Viryachasitum Tam Na Shaknumaha. They all said, my dear Brahmadev, by your mercy, prasadena is your mercy and blessings, there is a demon, Ravano Nama Rakshasaha. Ravana has become, this demon named Ravana has become so fearless of his death that he will not die by any power. So he's torturing us. And we are unable to control him. Okay. So now actually they all discuss, all of the demigods, when they come there, they have all discussed, they put forward their problems to Brahma. And all of their problems are related to everyone. The primary, the person is Ravana only. So what I'm going to tell right now is not like right now in this Balakanda, but it is part of the Uttarakanda. Because there Rama also asks the question, how did Ravana, who is Ravana, how did he become such a great demon? Okay, so I'll explain all those. I'll try to cover those topics here. So these demigods are saying, my dear Brahma, you only gave boon to this Ravana, appreciating his tapasya. And because respecting your mercy, your boons, we are all tolerating Ravana. He's tormenting all the three worlds. He's offending the presiding deities of each planet. He always goes to attack Indra. And he has become so puffed up that he's torturing the sages. He's torturing celestials like Yakshas, Gandharvas, and even Brahmanas. Nainam Surya Pratapati Parshve Vatina Marutaha Chalormimalida Tam Drishtva Samudropina Kampate. Out of fear of Ravana, the Surya, the sun god, is not shining harshly on Ravana and his kingdom, which is Lanka. He's not shining with his scorching rays like in the summer. He withdraws his power. The wind is not blowing heavily. Means, see, wind also should blow very pleasantly. Samudro, that means the waves on the oceans, they're also pleasantly moving, like as if the waves of a small lake or a pond. The waves are not strong. All these things should be very pleasant for him when he's around him in Sri Lanka. So see, he's commanding the Panchabhutas. That means the five primal elements. He's commanding them. And we are all panicking due to that demon. So they asked, all the demigods are asking Brahma, is there a way that he could be killed or eliminated? Is there a way? So when all the sages, they asked Brahma, so Brahma thought for a while and said, yes, I know an idea by which that demon Ravana can be killed. So just to give background of who Ravana is, maybe, okay, it's already 2 minutes. Okay, I will cover this, the story of Ravana tomorrow, how he became so powerful and all that, who he is. So here Brahma says, yes, there is a way that Ravana can be killed. And he says that when Ravana did tapasya, he seeked many boons from me. So he first of all asked that I should not die. Brahma, he said that no, that's not possible because I myself will die. So you have to die. Then Ravana put all his intelligence and he says, okay, then I should not be killed by demigods. I should not be killed by Gandharvas, Yakshas, or the sages. All these different powerful thing, animals and the humans, demigods he mentioned. And then he very disrespectfully he spoke of humans and monkeys. See, while asking the boon, he can say that I should not be killed by such and such and such. But in that, while asking itself, he disrespected the humans and monkeys. He said, oh, what these humans and monkeys can do. They cannot even come to me. So I will not even ask that I should not be killed by these humans and monkeys. They are very powerless, low-graded species. So I will not even ask. So Brahma is saying, if Ravana has to be killed, it must happen through humans or monkeys. So upon hearing the words of Brahma, all the sages and demigods became very happy. And exactly at that time, one thing happened. What is that? Etasminnantare Vishnu Rupayato Mahadyutihi Shankachakragadapanehi Pitavasa Jagatpadihi Vainateya Samaruhya Bhaskarasto Yadam Tayatha Tapta Hataka Keyuro Vandyamanaha Surottamaihi. Exactly when they were discussing like that, Lord Vishnu, who is the Lord of the universe, Jagatpati, he arrived there. And how was he looking? He was with great effulgence holding conch, shankhu, a chakra, a gada, conch, disc, a mace, and he was wearing a yellow garments. He was having golden bracelets, Keyuraha. He was mounted on Garuda, an eagle, and he came there. The moment Vishnu appeared, immediately Brahma and all other stages, they stood up from their seats and they offered obeisances to Lord Vishnu. And they all glorified Lord Vishnu. And then they said, Tvam niyokshyamahe Vishnu lokanam hitakamyaya Ragnyo Dasharadhasya Tvamayodhyapate Vibhoho Dharmajnasya Vadanyasya Maharshi Samatejasaha Asya Bharyaso Tisrushu Hri Shri Krityu Pamasucha Vishnu Putrattamagacha Kritvatmanam Chaturvidham. So he's saying, my dear Lord Vishnu, for the good of this whole material universe, Lokanam Hitakamyaya. So we would request you to become the son of the Dasharatha Maharaj, because he is Dharmajnaha. He is a great person who follows the Dharma. He is equivalent to great sages, Maharshis. So he is the right person to become your father. And they're requesting you, along with your 3 other energies, could you please take birth through these wives of King Dasharatha? So once you take the birth as human, then you can kill Ravana in the war, because it is not possible for us to do that. We are not powerful enough to eliminate him. He's torturing all the eminent saints, Gandharva, Siddhas, and demigods. He's knocking down the sages. He's beating us down. He's abducting the women. So we are all taking shelter of you. Can you please protect us? Then immediately Lord Vishnu, he spoke, Bhayam Tyajataha Bhadram Vo Hitartha Yudhiravanam Supatrapautram Samatyam Samitrajnati Bandhavam Hritva Hatva Kruram Duradharsham Devarshinam Bhayavaham Dasavarsha Sahasrani Dasavarsha Shatani Cha Vatsyami Manushe Loke Palayan Prithvimimam. He said, Bhayam Tyajata Bhadrambo. Bhayam Tyajata. Tyajata is sacrifice. Get rid of. Bhayam is fear. He said, don't be afraid. Get rid of the fear. Bhadrambo. That means you will all be safe. Bhadram. And for all of your sake, I will fight with Ravana and I will kill him. And along with him, not just him, all his sons, grandsons, friends, cousins, relatives, ministers, and all his forces, everyone will be killed in the war. Then I will rule this planet for 11,000 years. Dashavarsha Sahasrani, 10,000 years. Then plus Dashavarsha Shatani. Shatani is 100. 10 into 100 is 1,000. Dashavarsha Shatani, so 1,000 years. So I will rule this planet as a human for 11,000 years. Then after promising all the sages and demigods that he will take birth as Dashratha's son, Lord Vishnu, he took leave of all the great personalities and he disappeared from that place. And by this time, the Putrakamishta Yajna almost came to an end. And at that time, okay, see, when all this was happening, the Ayodhya Vasis, all the other people, Dashrath Maharaj and all that, they were, because they did not see all these conversations, because demigods and Vishnu, they have the power. They can be visible only by their will. If they desire, then they will be only by their, if they wanted to show themselves to the people, then they will show, otherwise they will not. Why demigods? The ghosts itself have that. Normal ghosts, they have this power. So demigods and Vishnu, they themselves, they definitely will have it. So by this time, the Putrakamishta Yajna, it almost came to an end. And at that time, a divine form of Yajna Purusha. You see, he's the Yajna Purusha, Yajna personified. He appeared from the sacrificial pit. And how was he? Tato vai yajamanasya pavaka datula prabham pradurbhutam mahadbhutam mahaviryam mahabalam krishnam raktambaradharam raktasyam dundubhisvanam snigdham haryashat shatanuja ashma ashru Pravaramurdhajam Shubhalakshana Sampannam Divyabharana Bhushitam Shaila Shringa Samutsedham Dripta Shardula Vikramam. So there emerged a greatly vigorous and energetic divine being who is very effulgent and who is none other than the Yajna Purusha, personified Yajna. So he was darkish in complexion. He was wearing red garments. In the photo, you all can see he's wearing red garments. His face was red. His voice was like that of a drum beat. He's full of good qualities. Shubha Lakshanam. He's decorated with divine ornaments. His height is like a mountain peak. And he was very strong-minded like a tiger. So that personality, Yajna Purusha, he brought a big golden vessel carrying it in his both the hands. And this was a golden pot with a silver lid. and that was dazzling like a sun. It was glowing like the tongues of the flame. And this vessel was having a designed dessert, or which we call as payasam. This payasa word is there. It is a Sanskrit word. It is there. It is the word which he uses, Valmiki Maharshi uses, is Divya Payasa Sampurna. So he got that divine payasam in this pot. Then the Yajna Purusha, he speaks, "Oh my dear king, I have sent here by the order of Prajapati." And and then Dasharatha Maharaj immediately he greeted the Yajna Purusha and he said, "My dear Lord, how can I serve you?" So seeing this attitude of Dasharatha Maharaj, serving attitude, Yajna Purusha became pleased and he said, "I've got this Divya Payasa Sampurna, this dessert, sweet dessert, and it is prepared by the celestial beings, by the demigods, and it is blessed, so it will give you the progeny and the health. So please let this be consumed and give this among your eligible wives." The very right words he used. Don't give it to everyone, all of your wives. Give it to your eligible wives only. So immediately King Dasharatha, he took the Payasa Patra, he circumambulated the Yajna Purusha, and after that, Yajna Purusha, he disappeared from that place. Okay, so tomorrow I'll continue from this point. It's 9:10.